The body of a missing Mexican congresswoman has been found in a shallow grave more than a month after she was abducted by armed men while raising awareness about the coronavirus pandemic.
Here's a summary of the article.
The body of a missing Mexican congresswoman has been found in a shallow grave more than a month after she was abducted by armed men while raising awareness about the coronavirus pandemic. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador told reporters on Wednesday a suspect had been detained over the killing of Bueno, who was a member of his party, Morena. Ixtlahuacán is a 30-minute drive from Tecomán, a picturesque seaside town that has earned the unenviable reputation as Mexico's most murderous municipality because of its strategic position for drug smuggling cartels. Mexico's war on drugs began in late 2006 when the president at the time, Felipe Calderón, ordered thousands of troops onto the streets in response to an explosion of horrific violence in his native state of Michoacán. As Mexico's military went on the offensive, the body count skyrocketed to new heights and tens of thousands were forced from their homes, disappeared or killed. Under Calderón's successor, Enrique Peña Nieto, the government's rhetoric on crime softened as Mexico sought to shed its reputation as the headquarters of some of the world's most murderous mafia groups. Mexico now suffers an average of about 96 murders per day, with nearly 29,000 people killed since AMLO took office.
This post received a score of 100,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It's so sad what's been happening to the good politicians in Mexico. I remember reading an article about a year ago now where another woman who was apparently pushing really hard for some reforms and got kidnapped in broad daylight by a gang. Sad face.
During the last presidential election, a lot of people running for office in opposition to the incumbents were murdered.
It wasn't just during the last election, it's been during every election.
It feels like they have an actual law and order problem in Mexico. There is no rule of law whatsoever in Mexico. Been here 23 years, all my life, nothing is going to change.
Who runs it?
Cartels.
Specifically corrupt politicians in bed with cartels. Cartels don't have that much power unless they are allowed to operate unchecked.
Cartels do have a lot of power here in Mexico, but saying they are the only ones in power is a huge misinformation. Cartels run amok in Mexico only because almost all politicians in high power are colluded with them, they go hand in hand. In a country where the only thing most politicians care about is money and power without minding the consequences, the politicians benefit from the cartels, and that's why the country is where it's at ATM.
Honest question at this point, do the politicians have any other choice? It sounds like any politician doesn't collude ends up murdered, unless I'm wrong here. And if that's the case, doesn't that mean the cartels do practically run the place? I'm sure corrupt politicians are how the cartels got as powerful as they are now, but is there really any other way there for a politician to opt out and keep their lives?
Greater than in 2017 Tecomán's, a town just 30 minutes away from where she was abducted, murder rate of a reported 172.5 deaths per 100,000 inhabitants resembled that of a war zone. Jesus fucking Christ.
Tecomán has a nice beach. When we were younger my parents would take us for the weekend. A couple of years later the cartels started eating the little town. Crime is just crazy. Corruption is everywhere. There is not much hope at this point. The few good ones get killed.
What year did the cartels start invading? I was in Acapulco in 2006 and I remember hearing about a beheading some time after that due to the cartel.
The war on drugs technically started in 2007 but it was only really bad in certain states. In middle school I started seeing new of the cruel stuff they were doing but it was only bad in certain cities, states. My parents started getting nervous about road trips. Around high school the whole deal started getting to my city and pretty much the whole country.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.